All right, welcome back to Weekend Warrior Workshop. Today's video is going to be a little different. I'm going to be demonstrating a product. Saker sent me this product to be able to demonstrate to see if it's something worth purchasing. So I'm going to give you my honest opinion after review. I'm going to approach this a little different. These are definitely designed for being able to paint doors or panels. The highlight of it is you're going to be able to do both sides at the same time. And so I'll kind of review some pros and cons that I've noticed so far just in reviewing. And then we're going to cover what I think the most beneficial part of this for someone who has maybe a small workshop in their garage and you finish product. There's definitely an advantage of having this that I'm looking forward to using in future projects. So I'll review that. But if that interests you, stick around. We're going to model this product and see what the benefits of purchasing it. All right, so this Saker product, I'll put a link in the description for you. It is designed for you to be able to paint doors specifically. The benefit of that is if you've ever had to paint all the doors in your house, you know it takes up quite a bit of room. And this will allow you not only to save room, but it'll allow you to paint both sides at the same time. So that's a huge benefit in time saving. So if you're gonna paint all the doors in your house, I definitely highly recommend using this product. It's definitely its initial intended purpose, and it does really well on that. And so what I'm gonna do is go ahead and open the product, kind of tell you what I think my initial first thoughts. So first, you could purchase this product from their website. But what you will notice when you go on there is they sell it in different packs. And so this they sent me is a 3-pack of 4. And so you need 4 of these items per level that you do. So if you have 3 doors, then 3 packs will do. If you have 6 doors, then there's a 6-pack, and so on and so forth. So every panel that you have, you can do that. Now the time benefit of purchasing versus maybe doing 2 sets, that's probably something you'd have to take into account. So for instance, if you have 12 doors, is the cost benefit of buying 12 versus 6 and doing 2 rounds of 6? Just depends on how much you like cleanup. So part of the issue with cleaning up in paint is one of the things I hate the most. So for me, the cost benefit, I'd probably buy one of these for each door that I was doing, just in the saving the time of setting up and cleaning the paint rollers and brushes and things like that. So for me, that's what I would recommend. But if the money is kind of on your budget to do that, that is an option where you can buy maybe half of what you need and do 2 sets of it. So it does come with 4 of these in each box. First notice, very stout, sturdy. There's not much flex to it. Kind of a waffle pattern to give it strength. Very lightweight. I do notice there's a little triangular points. I'm assuming that's for them, over here to lock into each other. So when you stack on top of each other, then this is the orientation that it'll go, and you just alternate the I versus the H as you go up. Additionally, it does come with screws. It has a center part. This part is raised out a little bit, and I'm assuming that'll allow it to spin freely without rubbing against the product. Say your door panel. I'm going to model this with some plywood, but you could also think of this how it would be if it was a regular door. The reason why I'm going to model it with plywood is because I'm going to model this on how I'm going to use it in my shop, and that is for saving space. So the benefit of this, if you've ever had a woodworking project and you have a bunch of little parts that you're pre-finishing before you put together, it takes up a lot of room. So what this does is I have plywood's about 2 foot by 2 foot here that I've have cut up, and what it'll allow you to do is do a set, finish it, and then stack another set, And so you're only using the footprint of one, but you can stack it as high as you need for it to dry. And so that will benefit me in the shop, saving a lot of room, because I'll be able to do 3 times, 4 times the amount, whatever it is that you're going to purchase, in stacking vertically. And so that's one of the main benefits that I see here. So I'm going to go ahead and get these out and installed, and we'll see what they look like. All right, so I have everything unpacked out of the box. Each box comes with 4 of the Saker stackers. Comes with a set of screw, 1 for each of the plastic stackers. And then it also comes with a little product instructional manual. Very simplistic, just gives you the basic instructions of how to install and use it. So my first initial thoughts, very stout product, very heavy duty. It is not easily bent, so it's going to be able to hold even a solid core, solid wood door. Some of those heavy, fully laminated doors that are heavier definitely would still hold up to that. So it's not that it's only going to work with the hollow core doors or any of the super light stuff. It'll work with even your heavier doors. So just the initial thoughts, I am impressed with how strong they are. So I'm not worried about the weight. Now another thing to keep in mind when installing these is you're probably going to want to try to get it as close to center as possible. If you have to move because there's something in the way, some metal piece, or depending on what you're doing with your doors. But what you do is whatever distance you do on one side, make sure you do on the other. That way it's level when you stack them. Because if you're painting them and it's not level, then the paint's going to want to go off to one side. And so go ahead and try to either do the center or the same distance on each side. Say, if it's a 1/2 inch door, try to get it around 1/4. If it's 2 inch wide, but you do a 1/2 inch up, just make sure it's a 1/2 inch on both sides. That way it's a level when you stack them. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch out screws. It does come with a nice like pan head type screw, and if you're using this on like a door, it's probably going to be perfect. But for me, on if I'm going to be finishing some kitchen cabinet doors and I'm going to be stacking them, I want to have the smallest hole possible when I go back to patch it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch out to a smaller screw. It's still a pan head screw, but the size difference of the hole is pretty significant. So it comes with 1.5 inches. It's about 3/8 wide at the thread area, probably 1/4 on the shaft of the screw. It has a nice pan head to it. So this is what comes with it. It is a Phillips drive, so it did come with a nice screw. But for me and how I'm going to be using it's a little big, so I'm going to switch out to this. It's 1.25 inches, still a pan head screw. It's a T15 bit on it, and it's a number 8 screw, so it's a lot thinner shaft on the screw. So one thing I've noticed with this product is, say for instance you're going to paint all the doors in your house, and you have varying widths of doors, say your closets and bedroom doors, or different widths. As long as they're the same height, so usually doors where I live are around 80 inches, and so the length of the doors will match, which means they'll still line up. But the width of the doors, if you're still going to paint them, just make sure that when you attach this, that the center line of where you're attaching it to the doors will line up. So one thing you can do is either find the center of each door and then measure out the same distance from there, or you can just subtract the calculation of the width difference. Either way, just make sure that on all doors that you're putting them at the same spot. That way when you go to stack, they'll be all aligned for all the various widths of doors. So that's just one thing I noticed. So probably would be easier just finding the center point of each door and measuring out a set distance and putting that on the product and then attaching those screws. So for me, these are all the same width. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose an arbitrary number. 4 inches looks like it would still give me spinning room. You don't want to put them so close where they're hitting each other when they spin, And so I would say at bare minimum, you know, the holes would need to be about 11 inches apart, so 5.5 from center. If your doors are narrower than that, then you're probably going to make sure that that specific door that's too narrow goes with the I shape instead of the H shape. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just mark all of these 4 inches in from the outside. It gives me room for them to swing, but it'll still allow me to stack them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and bring you along for the measurements. All right, so I went ahead and installed these on the 3 panels that I had that I'm going to use to model. And so it took about 15 minutes by the time I measured, set up, did a center hole punch, and installed them with the screws. Was pretty quick doing the setup. One thing that I would caution you is maybe not to go over tight. One, you don't want to strip the hole where you were doing, but you need a little bit of wiggle room to have it spin freely. So get it snug, but not so tight where it's hard to move them around. So I'm going to go ahead and model how these stack together. And so what you want to do is just alternate. Say it's in the I formation on the bottom, then turn it where it's the H formation. And as you can see, it stacks on top of that one. And then switch back to the I, and so on and so forth. And you could just keep going up as high as you want. So if you're out, say in your driveway, painting your doors, you can paint the first one with the roller, flip it over, paint the other side, then stack your second door on top, paint one side, flip it over, and just keep stacking your way up. If you're going to do that, I would just caution you on drips. Just be mindful of drips, because once you get stacking up, then it could drip on the product below. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Pretty secure. I mean, it's not something that I would sit on or dance on, but if you're just putting product on here to dry, then it's going to be perfect for you. So it'll handle the moving around of, you know, painting it, sanding it, whatever you need to, but because it does lock into these little channels as it stacks. So pretty simple to put together. So let me show you what I'm going to think about doing in my shop with them. All right, so in my shop, like I said, I have a very small shop. It's just a garage that I've converted into a workshop. And so one thing is just having horizontal space to be able to finish products and let them dry. And so, for instance, if I have a bunch of small parts that I'm going to pre-finish before assembly, or I made a bunch of little items, the benefit of this is, you know, I have these orange cones that allows you to do both sides. These cookie ones are made by Rockler. Same idea, but for instance, with this product is, you know, I can finish however many can fit on this board, flip it over, do the other side. So after you've finished both sides and you are going to normally let those dry in your workshop, the nice part about this, I can just take another rack, stack it on top of that. So nice thing is these little points go into a little slot, and then it allows you to put it in the right spot. So I've already done one layer, then I can come back, add another item to finish. Actually, let's do that. And I have another set of items here pre-finished. I just keep stacking on top of that, and I'm only taking up the footprint of this, but I'm getting 3 times the area to be able to dry. And so that's one of the items that I'm looking forward to the most. Now, if you don't have these items, what I've done in the past is just take scrap plywood, shoot some brad nails through it, and it allows you to kind of do the same thing. That one's, there we go. So you don't have to buy other products. You just take some scrap plywood, shoot some brad nails through, finish that side, flip over, finish that side, and then you can have all of it drying at the same time. So just something simple that I've used in the past, and I mean, I still use them, mix and match, but I wanted to share that with you because you don't have to go out and buy any special plastic gadgets. You can just do it simple with scraps that you have. So that's the benefit that I see for my shop, that I'll be using it, but I can definitely see a major benefit in time saving if you're going to be painting all the doors in your house. Another item that I was thinking about is if you did 2x4s across and be able to stack these up in your driveway and do one on each end, and you can do long baseboards. If you have a bunch of baseboards to do, you can have 2x4s going across these on each end and just alternate and stack them, and you can finish a bunch of baseboards at the same time, because that's one benefit remodeling a house. If you have all the doors and all the baseboards or a bunch of trim, I can see using this. I've already done my house, but if I ever redo it or help somebody, then I'll probably just put a 2x4 across here and do the same thing with baseboards. So if I'm refinishing any doors in the house, any baseboards, any mass molding, I'm definitely going to bring these out. But for now, I'm going to leave them attached to this because it's going to be something that I'll use in finishing products in my shop, because it gains the vertical stackability, and it's going to save me room. And then the nice thing is after you have all these items in here, and say I needed to let these dry, I could put a canvas tarp over this, like a painter's tarp, scoot it out of the way, so that if I'm doing some sawing to do another project, I'm not getting dust on it. So kind of create like a little mini paint room within there for it to dry. So really excited about this product. I want to say thank you to Saker for sending this to me to demonstrate. Would I recommend it to you? If you're going to repaint all the doors in your house, if you're going to do a bunch of base boards, a bunch of molding, I would recommend it. I think the cost benefit versus the time you save in the ability to do it in a small footprint, I think it's worth it. If you're redoing your whole house and it's completely empty and you have plenty of room to spread out, then maybe not. But if you're kind of locked into a certain area, maybe you're doing it with a paint gun and the hose isn't very long and you need to stay in a small area, I can see the benefit of this. If you're going to be doing, say, kitchen cabinet doors, that's where I would have a little hesitant to use these. Would I still maybe use them? Possibly, but I'm going to use the smallest screw possible because I'm going to have to end up finishing that after I paint it, or finish it, whatever it is. Those holes are going to have to be patched. So If you have kitchen cabinet doors that you're refinishing, as long as you're willing to put holes in the top and bottom, and then go back and patch it, then you can use it. But that would be one of my hesitant parts to use it. Can you? Yes. Would you? I'd have to weigh the cost benefit analysis of that one during the project. So I'll leave that decision up to you. But if you have a small shop and you have a bunch of items that you're going to finish and you want to have that stackability, I would recommend it. There's a link in the description. So with that, thank you to Saker for sending these to me. If this is something that you want to purchase, there is a link below. I'll also put a link to their website, and feel free to do that. I don't get any I won't get any kickback for it. I'm just recommending the product or not. So again, if you have doors that you're finishing in the house, a bunch of baseboards, a bunch of molding, then it probably would be something to benefit. I can see someone who's a professional painter definitely benefiting from a product like this. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that if you need these products, that they benefit you just as they will me in the future. Thanks for watching.